All right, everyone. Hey, it is Coach Tiffany here with Coach Dana Day on our Lunch Bites, and welcome back after the holidays, and we're starting a new year. And so today, Coach Dana is going to share 3 tips on how to succeed or be successful with your New Year's resolution goals. So without further ado, Dana, I'm just going to let you take it away.
Yeah, so super excited to be here. Can't believe we're in a new year. It still feels a little chaotic. Not sure what day it is, what time it is. We know everyone's feeling it. I know a lot of us are back to work today. Some people aren't. Some kids are back to school. Some aren't. So we know that it might still feel a little chaotic for you, but I thought we could talk about 3 tips just to kind of get you moving, and more importantly, stay on top of the goals you may have set for the new year. And if you haven't set any yet, hopefully just discussing this will help you kind of curate those a little bit. So my first tip on this is to try to keep the goals small. Keep the goals small and keep them few. So in other words, it's very easy when we come to a new year or a new week or a new month to want to do all of the things. And I know that it's very tempting, and you might feel kind of a sense of renewal. You might feel a sense of urgency right now that you need to start moving towards these things. But I would just caution you, both caution and encourage you to really shrink the goals down and pick 1 or 2 that you can be consistent with. So, if that goal is in relation to, maybe you pick 1 nutrition related goal, and instead of, having it like, I want to eat healthier, shrink it down, find something super, super small that you can focus on and go from there. So in other words, let's not try to eliminate all sugars, eliminate, eat clean, work out 17 times this week, and, meditate for an hour. Because I know that's sometimes what happens, right? That we want to just do all the things.
Absolutely. So true.
So really be hyper-focused, be patient, like we always talk about, and find 1 or 2 things that maybe give you you have to put some effort into it, but they are very doable and you can do it consistently. We want to build some momentum here. We want to build that consistency muscle, which is something I talk about all the time. Like, that's the most important muscle in the body, is the consistency muscle.
Love it.
So I don't know if you have anything that you want to add to that one in particular, but
no, I just think you're right on. It's easy to just want to kind of overhaul everything and do everything, especially like just when you have these times, whether it's New Year's or other times during the year where you just kind of are feeling really motivated. It's kind of all about pacing ourselves, and the more we take on, just the less likely you are to stick with it. So I think that's really solid advice. So yeah.
Great. Okay. So moving on to number 2 is find accountability somewhere. Now, accountability can come in many different forms. Accountability can be a spouse, a friend. It can be a virtual friend. It can be, your best friend that lives across the country. It can be an app. It can be a journal. It can be a printable worksheet. But many, many studies have shown that having some sense of accountability makes a difference when, you're looking to reach specific goals. So figure out what that might be for you. And, obviously we're both in the coaching business, and we know how important, I'm sure we both have, I know we both have, our own coaches and mentors and accountability people to keep ourselves on track. And I have that both, for my business and for my fitness. And I think that is just, it's critical. It's a critical piece. And we always, I think as women especially too, we think and want to do it all, and we want to do it on our own. And sometimes it feels like, we're giving in if we're using some form of accountability or something. And I just feel like that cannot be further from the truth. Find something that can help with accountability. I mean, there's so many apps out there. We're doing a challenge over in my Facebook group this week, and I have worksheets that I told them they could print out, to keep kind of track of their food intake this week, but stuff like, there's plenty of apps out there. I mean, a passion planner, if you're a written person, with the little bubbles that you can fill in to maybe show which days you're hitting your goals. I mean, there's so many things. Find what works for you, but have a system of accountability in place. It's so important.
So true. And I think sometimes too, obviously, again, I love how you're saying, find the type of accountability that works well for you, because it can, vary and depend on the person and your circumstances and what does work best. But I think oftentimes it almost is like asking for help or asking, for that support is like a sign of weakness. And I feel like nothing is further from the truth. Asking for that help, whether that is a coach, whether that's a friend or a family member or whoever, just to kind of help with that accountability, that takes courage a lot of times. And it takes, so it's to me, it's anything but weakness by asking for that. I should be able to do this on my own. I think there's something to be said about recognizing, if you aren't able to, if you aren't doing it on your own, if you're struggling with doing it on your own, that is a great opportunity for you then to maybe kind of shift that mindset into seeking out that accountability, that help, that support in whatever shape, way, or form, is going to work best for you. So I think that's awesome that's a great number 2.
All right, great. Awesome. And then the third tip I want to share is that when you are curating these goals, can't stress enough to keep it measurable in a sense. So, and let me give you an example. I kind of talked about this in the beginning where I said, maybe you have a goal to get healthy. Well, what does that mean exactly? Right? Like what does because getting healthy to me might mean something different to Tiffany, might mean something to, it's different for everybody. We all have sort of different goals and different ideas. And so I think that this is so important that you come up with a way to be able to measure your progress towards your goals. So let's say that you want to work on your hydration in the new year. So you want to drink more water. Well, what does that mean? What works for you? Come up with like an actual number. And we all know what's out there, half your body weight in ounces of water. Sure, that's a great starting point if you want. Maybe your starting point, maybe you hardly drink any water. So maybe your starting point is I'm going to drink, 2 glasses of water before noon, or so something that is painfully measurable. I just can't stress this enough. Another example, we were talking about nutrition today in our group and how important it is to eat protein, especially for women, if women who are, and specifically women who maybe are working on fat loss, because it can help with hunger, not only, but it can maintain your muscle mass, et cetera, et cetera. So instead of just broadly saying, increase your protein, we tried to bring it down a little bit more, 25 to 30% of your calories is protein. What does that translate into? Well, about 20 grams per meal. That makes it measurable. And then we whittled it down even more so as to not make it overwhelming. 20 grams of protein at breakfast. And we came up with that goal for people to work on this week. And that's it. It doesn't mean you have to hit 100 grams of protein every day, because it's easy to do that. It's easy to say that. Like, I want my goal to hit 100 grams of protein every single day. To most people, that is going to feel incredibly overwhelming.
Yes.
So instead, we take the goal, the big goal, and we whittle it down. Now we're at 20 grams of protein for breakfast on most days of the week. Very easily measurable, pretty doable for most people. with a little bit of pre-work and looking at their ingredients, etc. But I can't stress enough that coming up with measurable goals will really help with implementation.
Yeah. That's so, and I love just the different examples that you shared on how to do that, because I think sometimes we know that, or we think, oh yeah, measurable, but I think it was very helpful to just hear the examples that you shared on how to actually do that and break it down into not only, again, very clear, simple, attainable goals, but it's also very easy to measure as well. So great tips.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so just a quick recap on those 3 tips. First one, kind of shrink those goals. So instead of having 10, let's bring it down to 1 or 2. So shrink your goals and kind of pick 1 or 2. Number 2, find some accountability in whatever form will work for you. And then the third, make it measurable.
Love it. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Dana, for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome. Just some quick tips. I think, this is hopefully you guys can use those tips and get off on the right foot this week. We're here for support. You guys know if you have questions, drop them here in the comments and we will get back to you guys.
Perfect. A great way to just, start off the new year. So thank you again for sharing those. And if you will, like normal, just make sure if you'll drop a link in the comments with your Facebook group and everything. And I can do the same with mine. But as usual, Dana, it's always great to get together for these lunch bites. I enjoy our time together.
Yeah, so my pleasure.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for watching. And we will see you in 2 weeks on Coach Dana's page.
In 2 weeks.
And
yeah.
Well, we'll see you then. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Looking forward to it. Have a great week, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.